There once was a man named Gold Roger who was king of the pirates. He had fame, power, and wealth beyond your wildest dreams. Before they hung him from the gallows, these were the final words he said.
Our perspective is yours for the taking, but you'll have to join us first. We left everything we debated at the Yonko table.
Ever since, pirates from all over the world set sail for the Grand Line, searching for the Yonko table, the table that will make their dreams come true.
Yo, folks. Welcome to the latest and the greatest from the Yonko table. That is the voice of Grandmaster Hoop coming at you from the mystical tree where one elf fights on the left and a Balrog fights on the right to talk about the Rings of Power. Yes, that's right. The Rings of Power episode 5 is out. The hit prequel to the Lord of the Rings franchise set 3,000 years before the events of the films. Amazon Prime's big money baller, shop caller, spender here. We're here to talk about it. And yeah, episode 5. It's here. It's out. Things are building up. And yeah. With me, as always, is DrJaceAttorney. DrJaceAttorney, are you still fanning the flames for Rings of Power?
I am fanning the flames, but more importantly, I told you there was more than one Balrog. You were trying to tell me there was one.
That's okay. That's okay.
I'm excited about this episode. Funny enough, I feel like certain things that are done in this episode kind of reaffirm certain theories that I had about specific characters, and it kind of goes hand in hand with how partially because I've been forgetting this character a lot, and we'll get into them because they make an appearance in this episode. But I'm having a little bit more fun now because now that I have an idea of who's who, and I'm starting to remember names a lot more accurately, I feel like I'm aware of all the players on the field, and I could start guessing like, okay, this person's gonna do this, or this person may become this person. You know, I feel like as the weeks go on, we become more familiar with the lore, and then, you know, as a result, we can appreciate, you know, the next episode that's following that, because now we understand the mythos or the characters a little bit more. That's how I've been seeing it, at least. I'm enjoying it in that aspect.
Yeah, I can get down with that too. I'm getting used to the characters. There are characters that I enjoy following their story and, you know, seeing it culminate or, you know, lead into a bigger culmination. There are some parts and some characters who I'm still not invested in.
Are you talking about Nori?
I'm not talking about Nori. I'm actually talking about the son of ar-pharazon who blew up the ships.
What's his deal, man? Is he doing this all for just for some action with Isildur's sister?
That's what I'm saying. I don't get the motivation. I don't understand the hate for the elves. I don't understand.
You're gonna let an elf? You're gonna let an elf steer
one
us?
elf is making you do all this? You're crazy. She hasn't even done anything. So yeah, I'm not quite invested in certain stories, but I don't know. I felt weird. I thought they were already on the way back to Middle Earth with the ending of the last episode, and then
Really?
I could have sworn they were heading back.
Oh no, they did the no, because remember it was the scene where they were sailing off with Galadriel was gonna be sailed back to Valor, where the elves are, and then that's when the white leaves started falling. And then the queen's like, oh, but wait a minute. I shall reconsider my previous proposal. And then, so it was more or less a way to confirm, oh, all right. So the queen is now somewhat on board, and now she's going to make an announcement, and the people are going to volunteer as tribute to go out to their deaths.
Right. And I could have sworn they were on the way back, which is fine. This episode, I think, definitely, this has to be, I mean, did you watch the preview of the next episode?
I did, but I kind of half paid attention. It kind of looked like a battle ensued a little bit.
Yes,
Almost?
I think we're in there. It's about to happen. It's about to go down. So
I did see that.
Yeah. This episode felt like a calm before the storm. And for me, thinking we were about to have our bigger battles, I was like, oh, this is definitely the calm before the storm. So the storm is approaching. We get a little more insight on the mythos, as you stated. Let's talk about it. I think this episode, like the first episode, I think featured all the key players as far as
yes,
the main storylines. Everybody got a moment this episode.
Right.
Are you okay with that? I feel some of them got shorthanded. For example, I know you don't like her, but Nori, I felt her story, well, the scenes that they showed really was like almost insignificant. They had one major part, I feel, and or maybe two, and they disappeared for the rest of the episode. I don't know if I'm too big of a fan of, let's check in on this person, but let's only check in with them for like 5 minutes.
Well, my stance with Nori already.
I do.
I'm okay when we don't come back to Nori. And we had like last week we had no Nori, and I was okay with that. I was like, okay, that's all right. She's probably my least favorite story thread in the other plot points that we have. In terms of what we were given this week, I don't know. Again, I'm already indifferent to it, so I'm already biased going in. But the most we kind of got was the stranger, piecing together language, right?
He's learning. Yep.
He's learning how to speak. He's kind of learning what's considered good, what's considered bad, peril, danger, right?
Yep.
Danger. Almost like an Iron Giant type of scenario. I feel like it's Iron Giant.
Oh, that's a good comparison. Yeah.
What does he say? Gun, not gun. What does he say?
He's like, see, guns kill. Gun. Yeah.
That's how I see it. He is in a way. Oh wait, what?
I was gonna keep going with the Iron Giant quotes. Yes, yes. Were you saying like he's the gun. He is a giant to
he's
them.
The gun, right?
He's got untapped potential, and he lets it loose a bit here. And if aimed misdirectly, it will result in something bad.
Right. We've gotten a taste of him just, doing his Hulk smash onto the floor.
That was definitely a Hulk smash. Yes.
That was definitely a Hulk smash, but it seemed to, kind of hurt him as well. He
had a heal from it a little bit.
Right. And we saw a little bit of I guess ice magic, where he stuck his hand in the water and he was using the ice abilities to heal himself. Funny enough, when Nori decided to touch him during this process, the dumbass, I thought she was gonna lose that hand.
I thought she lost it when she pulled away.
I was gonna say oh, okay, now I'm kind of invested because there are stakes in this. She wanted this sense of adventure with this person, but now she's starting to see the danger he can be, and look what it cost her. It cost her a limb. I thought they were gonna go there, and I was gonna be somewhat invested, but no. Frostbite doesn't exist in the Lord of the Rings mythos.
Might have been a little too graphic for such a character like Nori.
It would have. Oh God, that happens, and I was, and that's it basically, right? The giant felt, a little bad about what he did, and he didn't know what he did because he was kind of like just chanting to himself.
Right. He sees her cradled on the ground, and he checks in with her, and I think he realizes, he hurt her. But yes, for the most part, I don't think the Harfoot people really, they're like, let's leave them behind. They're causing all this trouble.
Oh yeah, let's take their wheels. Let's take their. My God, man, I hate the Harfoots as a species.
Yeah, it sounds like a terrible little class system they got going on.
They are terrible people. Even the leader, he's considering it.
Right, he's like, what do you want me to do? Just leave the wheel.
Just take the wheels and leave them stranded. He could have outright said, no, hell no, we're not doing that to them. No, he didn't even do that. He just stood there pondering, and he was like, oh, well, the scales must be balanced. He considered it. That's my problem.
Right.
Screw the Harfoots. Screw the Harfoots.
Yeah, I don't think I would want to be a Harfoot. And then, the stranger saved them from the wolves, these ugly wolves.
There was that wolf scene, right?
Again, more like, with the ice bit and, his Hulk smash. I'm pretty sure he's a wizard. I think it's safe to say this guy is a wizard.
He is a wizard. The question is he a new wizard that we've never met, or is he a familiar one that we come to know in the later series?
Right.
Could he be Saruman? Could he be Gandalf?
Could he
Those
be
are the only two that I know.
Well, there's Radagast the Brown. He was featured in the Hobbit films.
Okay.
A little bit of expansion material there.
Okay.
And then I do my own research. There's like these two blue wizards. They're just literally called the Blue Wizards. I don't even think they have names.
Nice. I like it.
Or it could just be an original wizard. Who knows? But
okay.
I think it's going to get interesting given your background. Somebody or a group of people are hunting. What seems to be like hunting the stranger. As you like to say, your discount Eminem.
Right. Discount Eminem made his first appearance in this week's episode. And many believed this character to be Sauron. In early release trailers, they showcased a lot of characters and people immediately gravitated towards this guy, Discount Eminem, and they thought, oh, that has to be Sauron. I have my own little theory on who Sauron might be. I used to think that this potentially could be Sauron, but then, like, in the first couple episodes, once you started seeing more of the behind the scenes and how the creators kind of want to subvert people's expectations on like when Sauron returns or which character is it going to be, I don't think this is Sauron. I don't think this is Sauron anymore.
I don't know who this is or who these people are.
They look
weird.
They know about the stranger at least.
They do,
or at least the race or the entity of those people. I don't know. Isn't Gandalf's a race called like the Ondor or
something like called? That? I don't know. Something like that. I honestly don't know. Goodness, Lord of the Rings universe uses so many words that I really don't know. So I don't know what they're called.
He's an Istar.
There you go.
Which is basically a wizard.
Yeah, they're wizards. They're wizards. Istari.
Yes.
Istari. Where were you going with this?
No, because you mentioned Discount Eminem, that he's tied to the stranger in some way. He either knows the stranger directly or he just knows of the Astari, the wizards in general. And what he wants to do with that information, we don't know. He looks evil as all hell. I mean,
they play the grim music in the background. It could be, honestly, a bait and switch. This might not even be an evil person. They have some. I mean, it's an order. There was like 4 of them in white cloaks with these weird staffs. Shoot, they might be wizards themselves. Who knows?
Interesting.
It's very interesting that they just showed up, and I guess they are going to cause problems later on for the Harfoot people, so long as they're traveling with the stranger. And given now that the stranger and Nori are not friends, or I don't know, maybe she'll realize he didn't mean to hurt her.
I think she was scared just a little bit from almost losing her hand. So I'm sure they'll make up or whatever. I just don't care for that. I just don't care. I don't care if they make up or not.
I think it's about to get interesting. It's
now that this character, this guy.
Yeah, now that they have a actual opposing force coming after them. So we think.
Actually, you know what? Maybe that was the problem with Nori and her plot thread. There was never really an opposing force compared to all the other ones, right?
No, there were wolves.
Oh, the wolves! The wolves!
It's something.
Oh no!
It's not much, but it's there.
Listen, I ain't comparing a wolf to the devil across the street that's waging war against these other characters. But okay, maybe this guy, maybe he ties it back into the main plot thread, because right now, I think part of the problem with Nori is that you don't know what part of this connects to the overall plot.
Right. Her story is so far the furthest away from any other kind of plot.
Right.
That the show has been building towards, or like, Elrond knows Galadriel, so they got that tie-in. But right. Nori, there's no connection to the bigger scope of things.
And I mean, even if Elrond doesn't know Galadriel, what the direction Elrond's story is going into is the creation of the Rings of Power. So
right.
In a scenario where, Galadriel and Elrond never met, it's like, okay, but I'm still invested in Elrond's story because Rings of Power are going to come from this relationship that he has with Durin. And right. Then with Galadriel is, the main plot thread. Let's go and fight Sauron and in the Southlands. And then you have Arundir and Bronwyn, who are actually in the Southlands, and they are fighting against some dark entity.
They're about to get it first.
They're about to get it first. They're the first wave, the first platoon onto the battlefield. So I'm invested in all these other plot threads, but then when you switch over to Nori, it's like, all right, the stranger, that's all you got. Okay, but what about him? Now that this guy is in here, whoever the hell this is, this great value M&M, I'm now interested because it's like,
that's not even, you don't even have the right one actually. Is that not him? No, that's the one of the ones that was on the hill.
Really? Are you?
Yes.
You're positive?
I have the scene pulled up right now.
Well, wait a minute. Don't they all 3 appear on the hill, and then the main one, this one goes down? That one you have is standing on the hill with the 2 others, looking down at the discount M&M. So God, they just look so similar then.
Bridie Sisson.
They have names?
Oh no, that's the actor or actress. Yeah.
Okay. Either way, now that they're introduced, now I'm curious what direction it's gonna go in. Obviously tied to the stranger, how it's gonna tie into the main plot, don't know yet, but I'm invested now. I can't say.
Oh, okay, never mind. It is the same one.
Wow, what are the odds? I was gonna say
it's a weird shot where they start on the top of the hill.
Yes.
And then they don't show the transition of the one going
to
down
the hill. Or getting down the hill to where the crater was.
Right. They don't show the transition. Okay. They're the same. All
Discount M&M.
You can see the hair when they get down.
Right.
Right. So
but that's about it for Nori. in this plot thread. I'm not gonna. I no longer think this person is Sauron, so I don't care until they give me more information on him. So
Right,
I'm
there's nothing.
indifferent.
Yeah. And again, it was mad brief. They moved
Right.
on real quick.
Right.
But speaking of Sauron, let's talk about the Watchtower and Adar. The brewing conflict is about to, it's about to burst.
Right.
The tunnels are complete.
Right.
So I guess they can start making moves.
So I had a problem with this scene. It's the first scene that we get with Bronwyn, or Bronwyn's plot thread with Orondir in this episode. And I think it's kind of weird that Bronwyn gives this. I get it. It's supposed to be a speech to rile you up, to motivate you to like say, yeah, let's fight them back. She gave 2 sentences, like very, very quick, very, very quick. And everyone seemingly was all game for going to war to fight essentially what they know is the devil. And at first I'm like, wait, what is that all it took? I expected some pushback or something, like these people they're like farmers and barkeeps, and
they're definitely not warriors for sure.
They're not warriors, but they're already with a half-hearted speech. That's the thing. I feel like Bronwyn didn't give a good enough speech to like rally up the people. And then what follows that is the old man character from last week's episode. Waldreg. He was the one that had the dagger originally.
You know about Sauron, lad?
Come off it, lad. Don't you know it?
It's Sauron.
Our Lord and Savior, the devil. Everyone's all game to go to war, but then Waldreg comes in and he's like, he also says just 2 sentences like, "What do you mean, lass? Let's worship the devil, our Lord Sauron." And then everyone also goes to his side. This scene was poorly done. I felt like this scene was very, very rushed, because on one end you had everyone getting ready to fight for Bronwyn's cause, and then in a split second, with barely any convincing, you have Waldreg convincing more than half of those same people to go ahead and worship the devil down the street, which is Aldar. And I'm like, I don't buy this. This scene was so weird. I don't know if it's just me. I don't know if you felt the same way. That was boggling my mind in this entire sequence. I was like, I'm not convinced by either of these speeches to either A, fight the devil, or B, bend the knee to the devil. So I don't know.
I'm indifferent. I don't think it was a bad speech. I think the problem is these Southlanders are just without a leader, and Bronwyn, who I don't know her prior occupation, clearly is not a leader, but clearly doesn't want to submit to evil, obviously, for obvious reasons. But she's basically like, we don't have a choice. We got to fight. And everyone's gung-ho ready to fight. What I find most interesting about Waldreg is he brings up, and I think this is why the Southlands just kind of suck. He just brings up the fact that, hey, our ancestors bent the knee to Sauron in the past, and they lived. Morgoth, they lived. We're here today because of them. Let's just go do the same thing. I think he raises a good point.
But he barely did any convincing. I don't know.
No. I get it. And that's the thing. I think when you watch these Southlander sequences, you just like, these people are stupid and they suck. Like
maybe that's what they're trying to sell me.
I think that's what I'm getting from. They just are, again, lack of leadership. They're flip-floppy. You really can't
easily
trust
swayed.
Them. So easily swayed, because again, it's not like he even made that great of an argument. He just reminded them of the past. And yeah, half of them leave with him.
Like they think it's gonna end well. I just like goodness. Oh my god. Well,
I think it's more testament for they are in dire need of leadership, and it's not going to come from a run deer because all of this elf hate.
Oh my
everybody
god,
hates elves.
Waldreg wanted to just drop a slur as soon as Arundir came over. He was because what was it? I think Arundir tried to remind Waldreg during his speech, like, hey, whoa, like this, I've seen this enemy in the eye, and this is not someone or something that you pledge servitude to. You surrendering to them is not going to end well. And then Waldreg's like, who are we going to surrender to then? Elf?
Right.
I'm like,
he says, you think this will be your deliverance? You think he's your deliverance? He's like, you think you are?
Elf? I mean, goodness, my God.
It's similar to, I don't know, watching like the scum of, I don't know, it's King's Landing or something. It's like, why root for these people? Why care to see if these people live or die?
Oh, Game of Thrones.
Yeah, they're just kind of bad people. It seems. So it's like
they are.
It's hard to root for them. It's hard to get, behind them. And it shall be interesting because half these people leave. And
they do.
They go, and I thought this was probably one of the funniest sequences. I know it's not supposed to be funny.
I know what you're talking. It was funny. It was funny.
It was just
unintentionally funny.
I was just like, oh my gosh, you're just an idiot. He's like, we come to bend the knee to Lord Sauron. You are Sauron, aren't you?
We'll bend the knee either way. I swear. That pisses him off. But why? Why did it piss him off? That's a good question.
That is a great question. Yeah, he seemed visibly upset to be called Sauron.
Right. And is it because, there's the initial assumption that Aldar is an early version of Sauron, or what Sauron looks like right now. But then there's also the argument that he's not Sauron at all. We don't know who or what Aldar is right now.
Right. Still a mystery.
Right. So when Waldreg is calling him Sauron, is Aldar upset either by the fact that, oh, that's who I used to be, I'm no longer Sauron, how dare you call me by that name of which I've vanquished from my reality already? Or is he upset by just the mistaken identity? Like, you guys came here thinking you were going to worship Sauron, but I ain't Sauron, so I'm angry now that you're calling me Sauron. And I thought he was going to smash his head in.
I was like, this is what this dude deserves. Let's go pledge to Sauron. And then the first question that comes out of your mouth, you are Sauron, aren't you? Like, you should have did your research, bud. Like, that's mad disrespectful. What are you doing? You can't call some. I think the mystery of Adar shall be a fun one to watch play out. Like you said, I don't know. Maybe he's some guy who's always been in Sauron's shadow. And, they both were generals for Morgoth. And, he could never break out of Sauron's shadow. Or maybe he is Sauron, but he's trying to not be Sauron.
Well, the interesting thing about it is that we know he's not an orc. I mean, we knew that we assumed that for a while. Yes. Considering just how he looked like. But then in the beginning of the episode, you get that scene where he's standing in the sun and nothing's happening to him. And that's when that orc soldier came up to him and he's like, "Oi, he says, how does it feel?" What does he say? Like,
He says like
fire.
like fire, Lord Father.
I mean, God, he held his arm there baking. You hear the sizzling.
And he's like, I wish you could feel it as I do. He's like, right. Can I stop now?
Sir, this hurts. Let me go.
I don't know what's going on here. It's interesting to say the least.
There's definitely something there about Aldar. I also don't think he's Sauron.
Yeah, I'm not getting really Sauron vibes. No.
But I do have a theory on who Sauron is, and we'll get to him when we get to that.
Oh, is that coming
character.
up? That's coming up.
That's coming up.
Oh, interesting. I don't have any theories. Okay, I'm curious about your theory.
I have it. But yeah. So basically, what this guy, he gets an ultimatum. He's like, "Oi, but an elite." No, not Waldreg. Waldreg doesn't say this. Aldar says, an oath must be like bound in blood.
Bound in blood. Yes.
So he grabs like Theo's best friend or something. And
yeah.
They I don't know, man. People that are considered friends in this universe just seem like asses to each other.
Again, I don't think Southlanders are good people.
I don't think they are.
Their moral compass is like running haywire. So
right. They're just terrible. So like Aldar grabs Theo's friend, quotation marks, and basically tells Waldreg, "Yo, slit this guy's throat." And that's when the oath will be sealed. Waldreg seemed like he was gonna do it, and he likely did do it.
Yeah, pretty sure he did. Yeah.
We don't know what Aldar did with the other Southlanders, because the next scene we get of them is them marching onto the tower where Arondir is. We don't know, the Southlanders were not marching with them, so we don't know where the Southlanders went after Waldreg pledged allegiance to whoever you are. So yeah, I guess it looks like they're gonna have a battle, especially next week. Bronwyn was ready to surrender once they realized the secret of the hilt.
Oh, it's a key. It's not just a hilt, it's a key.
Right.
A key to what though? I was confused. They were looking at the rocks with the engravings on it.
I just think they realized the importance of it. Like me personally, I didn't see what the significance was. I just know that they all acknowledge, like, okay, we have something that they want. It is very important, and they're likely not going to stop at anything until they get it back. Yeah. So at that point, Bronwyn's like, hey, let's surrender. I know I was trying to rally you guys up before, but this ain't worth it. Yeah, let's not do this.
I think it's a little too late for that. They are on their way.
They are on their way.
They don't look like they're stopping for nothing.
They don't. They're already chanting. They have their war chant already as they're marching up the hill. So they're getting riled up.
Yeah.
But I think that's when they basically say, one of them says something, and then I think Bronwyn or Arundir, they realize, hey, let's drop the tower on them. Let's just knock it down on them when they come up.
Oh, is that the plan they came up with?
I think
there's a shot where it views up to the tower.
Yeah, they said something like they're gonna come. They're going to raid us until they topple the tower over or something like that. And then
right, and she's got a look of this amazement and looks up at the tower.
So they're gonna drop the tower, I guess, on the orcs. I don't know if that's gonna. I thought that's gonna stop them.
I mean, it could stop a good amount.
It'll stop the first platoon.
You better have a backup plan next.
Right, because Arundir can only handle so many arrow shots.
And Theo's not a good shot, apparently.
Theo's not a good shot at all. But apparently he's gotten his mark of bravery in only 14 years, where it took a Rundeer 200.
200. Which I imagine equates to a 14-year-old. I don't know how.
No.
Yeah, I was like, man, you didn't really put in perspective for him.
Right. 200 years. Like, what is that really to an elf?
Right. Like, he said in 14 years, half that time, he probably couldn't even pick up a bow. So
exactly.
Nice pep talk, Arundir. Good job. Nice try.
Yeah. He just says, thanks, elf. Like, okay.
Right.
All right, buddy. But we kind of know the stakes now with Arundir's plot thread and Bronwyn's. They're getting ready for a battle that's marching up the hill for next week's episode. I'm curious to see where it's going to lead to with Adar. And
yes, definitely would like to see how it plays out. First kind of big scale battle.
Right. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, it is really the first big scale battle. Like we've had fights before this episode, but this is like our first Lord of the Rings like proper grand scale conquest fight, you know?
Right. It's giving Mad Helm's Deep vibes. So
Right. So yeah, that'll be interesting. You get to see kind of how these showrunners flex their muscle when it comes to battles, you know, because I feel like that will go a long way in determining whether or not this show is as successful as they want it to be. Because you got to have good battles, you know.
I think battles are a staple in Lord of the Rings.
Exactly.
I think
they have to make sense.
Some of the most practical kind of effects and like grandiose, you know, like it's an epic. You got to sell the epic. They sold it in the aesthetic. It's epic. The multiple storylines seem to be epic. Now we just need the battles to match the epicness of it all to truly be an epic. So they got their work cut out for them. They just got to sell us, you know, just sell it. And I mean, again, 58 mil. That's more than the budget of, I think, the original 3 films. So
yeah, I think so.
Please deliver.
I think they've been flexing the money in all these episodes so far. I would be so shocked if for the grand battle, and it's not even the grand battle, it's a battle in season 1. I don't even think it's the grand battle for season 1.
Right. It's not like the quintessential like Isildur, hurry. You know, like it's not that battle. That's probably like season 5. Y'all just gotta sell us to make Adar seem like a formidable, you know, opponent and give us something to fight for. I guess.
Don't show me orcs slipping on banana peels or just I don't know, succumbing to silliness or whatever.
Theo should not get a kill.
Really? You think Theo's not gonna get a single kill?
No, and if he
not
does,
even
it'll
like
be
an axe, not even like because
be a last minute, be very last minute kill.
The mom killed one, right?
She did.
She killed, yeah, that was like a 2v1. I think Theo I don't care for him to get one.
No, I'm just saying as far as I don't know, like
a 1v1 fight. You're saying no, Theo better not score a kill on the orc.
He's not getting a 1v1 fight, period. So
okay,
I don't think he's getting a 1v1 fight.
All right, fair enough. He could stab himself with the juice, the evil juice.
I just want to say, I looked at the budgets of the original films. Total budget wise, 281 mil
for all 3.
For the 3, yeah.
281. Okay.
So near 300 million.
So essentially, we're on episode 5. We've already surpassed. Well, almost.
Yeah.
Wait, right?
We surpassed what? 58
1, 2,
times 5.
3, 4,
yeah,
5. Yeah,
we surpassed it. Yeah.
And we're not even at the fight yet. So there we go.
Right.
Deliver
us. Speaking of deliveries, there is a table being delivered back to Khazad-dûm for Durin.
Khazad-dûm, that's right. As a joke. I knew it
As a joke.
I knew it was a joke from the beginning because I was like, there's no way. There's no way that he's like because what they Elrond and Durin, they went back to the elf city or did
Yeah, they're in Linden. They're in Linden.
Okay. They go back to Linden, they're having dinner with the high elf king, and Durin just brings up oh, where'd you get this table? And they're like, I don't know. I don't remember. Why do you ask? It's one of the most rarest deposits in all of dwarfdom. We
use it for our tombs. It's very sacrilegious for you to use it as a table.
I'm like, I know this dude's trolling. He got pissed at some of the pettiest things with Elrond. He would be livid right now if that was true about the mineral. So I knew he was trolling, and he was trolling. I thought that was hilarious.
It's a good little bit. I like Durin.
Yes.
Very interesting meeting as far as kind of what is revealed here. Obviously, they want the Mithril.
The elves.
The elves want the Mithril.
Right.
Elrond does not want to admit it is there. And then they kind of like push him against the wall and say, hello, you're an elf. Like, let me tell you what's really going on, too.
Yeah, right.
The tree is leaking black.
Is that what's happening?
That tree was covered in black goo. No,
but like, so I kind of like zoned out a little bit because that's when they started getting into like the mysticism. So did this just happen out of nowhere? Like, is it the tree started leaking? Is that what happened?
I guess it had been leaking for some time.
Because there was that scene when Galadriel sailed off, right? Because the king was telling her, everything's gonna be all right. You did your job. Now go back to the elf kingdom and live the rest of your days there. But then when she sailed off, I think it was starting to get stormy at the And I think they did show the trees kind of withering a little bit.
If it did, it probably was mad subtle because he was saying that I guess it's been happening for before they even sent Galadriel off because he thought by sending her off, it would heal the tree because she was kind of like so hell bent on, her quest to take down Sauron.
Right.
That it was having an effect on the tree. So if it wasn't as profound back then, it's profound now. And I guess also too, this does tie in a bit to I think the overall Lord of the Rings mythos. I think in the film it mentions, I think by the time of the Lord of the Rings films, it's like all the elves are about to make the trip back to.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Valar. Is it Valar?
I think it's Valar or Valor. Valor.
Yes, they are. Like, for example, I know the elves of Rivendell were going back. Arwen, Aragorn's betrothed wife, whatever you want to call her. Elrond, she's Elrond's daughter. She was going back. She was on a horse. They were making a trek to the sea. And because I'm pretty sure he said, the time of the elves has come to an end. Their light, I think, was like done. It was all but faded. So it was time to go back. And he stayed behind, to help out however he can. But when she chose to stay too, she is, because she's in love with Aragorn, her immortality would be eaten up. So she wouldn't be immortal anymore. She wouldn't be protected by the elf light.
Right. And actually, I misspoke earlier. The elf kingdom is called Aman. Aman.
That wasn't Linden?
No. Like the kingdom to the west across the sea.
Oh, okay. Aman. Okay.
Right, Aman. What was that? What you were referring to when you said that they were going to
the elf? Okay. Yeah, they're going back.
Okay. Yeah, and we also get in this little snippet the thing you alluded to earlier, the little story about um what the elf, the tree, and the a Balrog that
They fought above, atop the misty mountains, and yeah, they fought, and the tree got struck by lightning, and that's their tree, right? That's like their mystical tree.
that's what I assumed. Yeah.
And the roots ran so deep. It's almost it's a very vibranium-esque the way they're making it sound.
Oh yeah, it does seem
yeah.
like vibranium.
Yeah, it seeps into the mountain, and I guess makes me through.
And they had their prophecy, they had their legend of it, and its existence. And the king basically tells Elrond, like, my man, we're dying. Like, love of God. Like, who cares if I will not be an oath breaker? We're all gonna die if you don't.
He's like, your father wasn't an oath breaker either, and he died for his people, so you can live. Come on, give me the goods.
Exactly. And I kind of like how steadfast Elrond is. He knows that his people are essentially doomed if they don't if they don't give up the location or the existence of the Mithril, if he doesn't give that up, but he doesn't want to betray his friend. He's got
morals. He's got morals.
And then I like where it led to after that, because then, rather than just being pressured from the king to just come out clean and be like, just say it, say that there's Mithril, and him just saying, okay, I'm sorry, there is. Rather than doing that, he goes back to Durin and he gives him the power to do something like that. He puts the ball in his court, and he's like, listen, I'm gonna be frank with you. My people are dying. We think the Mithril will help in basically them not being vanquished from Middle Earth. But I am not going to betray your trust. I'm putting it onto you. Will you please help us? Because actually, wait, what does he say? He says, because Durin keeps wanting him to repeat it.
He says the fate of the elven race is in your hands.
Say it again.
And he's like, so the fate of the entire elven race is in my hands. No, it's very interesting given the lore of it all. We know, now we apparently know that Mithril is going to play a huge part in, I guess, prolonging the elf lifespan for however long it may be. Right. But we also know the dwarves are going to get really greedy in digging up Mithril and, eventually kind of cause their own downfall as far as awakening another Balrog. And
right.
So it's very interesting to see where it goes, to where, does Durin, is he going to, dig up Mithril, give it to the elves and, call it a day? And then they're like, well, we're just going to keep getting more and more.
Interesting enough, because since apparently the show is already breaking canon and it's changing the mythos and the lore, what might be kind of interesting, what's established before is that due to the dwarves' own greed, they kept digging for Mithril, they unleashed the Balrog. What if the change to that is, assuming King Durin is on board to help Elrond and the elves, what if they actually start digging because of the elves? Like they're digging more for it because of the elves to supply them with the Mithril that they need. And that unleashes the Balrog. They get, they handle it however they handle it. But now the division between the dwarves and the elves is even more strenuous now, because it's like, well, damn, we never would have unleashed that thing if we hadn't agreed to help you. Like, this is your fault. We unleashed that. We would have been fine with what we had.
Kind of like, well, all right, elves, we need you to take ownership. You know, you and your immortality push led to, you know, a decline in the race of dwarves.
Right.
And they probably won't take ownership for it.
Right. And then,
which is causing a lot of people to kind of have this distaste towards elves.
Right. And again, that's assuming that, you know, the creators want to change that part of the lore as well, rather than keep it as the dwarves just got greedy, so they kept digging.
I think you know, I don't know if I call it. I mean, it's almost like a retcon, but it's almost like it adds just another layer to what was already thought. You know, it's like, oh, this is actually what was going on. Yeah, it could look like they were greedy, but they were really trying to help the elves, and it looks bad on the elves if the elves don't kind of own up to, you know, pushing the dwarves to do that.
Right. So you're saying like history tells that the dwarves were just being greedy, but the actual moment to moment thing that caused it to happen were the elves, you know, asking for help. And
yes, it's
that could be interesting.
The victors write the history books.
Right. Yeah. The elves don't want to make it seem like it was their fault that the Balrog was unleashed on the dwarves when they kept digging mithril for them. So then they instead spin it as, oh yeah, those greedy dwarves, they kept digging. They just wanted more mithril. They did it to themselves.
See, there you go. It just adds a nice little, you know, layer.
I actually wouldn't mind that. Like an onion.
Like an onion.
Where's our Yonko bingo card?
Oh man, I forgot to print mine out. I think it'll be cool. Yeah, I can buy that. Yeah. Nice. Very nice. Very nice.
And that's about it with them, right? With Elrond and Durin. Durin seems to be on board for the most part. They just have to convince his father to also be on board with them. Which I feel like after the speech, the speech that he had with his dad in the previous episode, I feel like the dad would. I don't know. Maybe not. He's very stubborn, apparently.
He has distrust towards the elves. It seems maybe he too will feel like, you know, the power is in his hands. He's like, oh, I can help the elves or I can let them die.
Right.
And maybe he'll help out just so he can be like, you need me more than I need you.
Right.
Type of shtick. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, that's it for them. Again, I think Nori and Elrond probably got the shortest bit of time here. Which is okay. It was fine. I didn't it's okay. As far as the story serves for this episode, it was fine. Just checking in on what's going on with these two parts. I think most of maybe not majority of the story, but Numenor, a lot of things are still happening on Numenor. They're prepping. They're ready to go. Some folks not so much. All right, let's just get it out of the way. The son of the High Council member, Pharazon is his name. Pharazon is the old with the beard.
Right.
I don't know why. What's the deal with his son? But he wants to sabotage everything. I guess for the name, for Isildur's sister. I guess.
Yes, for whatever reason, she held his hand this episode. Ooh. Oh, I'll do whatever you want then.
Right.
Such a weirdo. Like I don't get it. I
don't get it either.
This is one element of the Numenor plot thread that whenever they show it, I completely zone out. It's not even like, oh, I stopped paying attention a little bit. No, I don't care. I don't care about Isildur's sister and Pharazon's son. I don't know what they're trying to do with this. They just started their love quest last episode last week, and I'm supposed to care, like be convinced that, and I don't know. This guy's just freaking weird. And but yeah, they want to sabotage the boats. Is there a reason why the sister is really adamant about shutting down the? Is it because she doesn't want her dad to sail off, or
It must be something that we missed, because
I feel like it is.
I feel was not the most invested when she was first presented. I mean, same thing with the Isildur. I wasn't too invested in him either. When he was first, I mean, I was like, oh, cool, it's Isildur. But I wasn't like really paying attention. He just looks like some foolish little kid, like, you know,
So-
wants to do big things. But
What's his deal in this story? Like okay, so I know who Isildur is, you know, in the grand scheme of things, but like, what's his plot thread right now? Is it that he can't commit to like positions that he gets appointed to, and that's why his dad's always angry with him and he doesn't want to give him a shot on the? I feel like everyone's being mean to Isildur.
and everybody's pretty mean to Isildur.
Like they're treating him like a punching bag, and I'm like, I feel like now that I know the names of these characters, I feel like there was stuff that I should have listened to more clearly in the early episodes, so I understand like why everyone is treating him the way they're treating him now. They're just being freaking mean, man. Like, I don't know, his friends are mean to him, his dad is mean to him.
It just seems like he's trying to prove himself, but he's not trying to use, like, I guess his title, like his lineage to promote himself. But it's like he doesn't want any of it either. He's just doing it because he has to, but he actually has no real kind of interest in any of it. And it's screwing up his friends. It's making his dad upset. Yeah, no, I don't get it. I don't get it, but he's lost. He's lost. Isildur is lost currently.
Right. He tried to be a stowaway.
He
On the
did.
ship.
And he caught homeboy. Trying to, oh my gosh, he's like blowing up the ships. Like he's like, I'm not gonna let them go to war for an elf. We're not fighting an elf war.
Isildur sister touched my hand.
I gotta do everything I can.
My goodness. Yeah, I guess Hallbrand. I'm sorry, not Hallbrand. Isildur is just trying to make a name for himself, wants the honor and the title, I guess, to prove himself to his family, his friends. And he seems to get that towards the end, although he's a stable boy now. But
right, they're like, you're here, but you know, we're gonna treat you. You haven't really earned it. Yeah.
Right. They had to work their way. I guess that's primarily what the problem is. He's mostly been handed things down to him, right? From like his position, his title. Everyone else had to work their way up to get there. And he kind of takes things for granted. I guess that's the logic with it. That's what I get. He's trying to prove himself for whatever reason, and it's just not working.
You know, but he did not rat out that guy. He did not rat him out.
He did not. No.
Very interesting move.
Right. Well, does he know that his sister and them are? Yeah, he does, I think.
I don't think he even has any idea who that guy is to his sister at all.
Goodness, I don't either. Nor do I care. I don't care when that guy comes on screen. So I'm like, all right, let's just move it along.
I don't care too much. But yeah, I mean, he failed, and that was kind of it. He failed, and that was the last we saw of him, I think.
Right. No, it was. He's on the ship. I mean, that's at the end of the episode when they're about to sail off into.
No, I mean like the other guy, like he.
The other one. Yeah, he just ran.
And that was it.
Yeah.
Which is I'm like weird storytelling aspect. We have no idea what's.
It was.
So he weird. Failed. So is that it for his character? Are we never gonna see him again?
Never again.
The 3 ships are going.
They're leaving.
Unless he's going to It's not like he could do any more damage.
It's oh my god, it's just weird. But I think his dad, Pharazon,
Yeah.
he's the more interesting character in that, that family. He has an agenda with this. He's not going out there for the betterment of the Southland people. He's doing it for the betterment of Numenor, in the sense that, what was it that he said? Like, all the trade and the market and everything that we can establish in the Southlands, I wouldn't sacrifice that for all the salt in the sea. Like, oh, okay, that's a commitment.
I swear it's not that deep. Like, it's not that serious. I swear the elves don't care about Numenor. Go fight this battle and come back saying the elves are going, what do you say? Like the elves are going to praise us, like, or something. Elves will be in service to us.
Right.
I don't think it's that deep, man. Like, I don't get it.
Well, I'm in a way almost spoiling myself, because I'm reading Pharazon's things. Okay, I'm gonna stop.
Oh, you better stop.
There's stuff with him. I'm gonna stop. He's important.
Oh, okay. All right.
Pay attention to Pharazon.
I'm paying attention. I get it. He doesn't want to be in service to elves. He wants elves to be in service to man. And that's all I got.
Okay. And like the only remaining characters left aside from Pharazon and the rest of them are our main characters or character, whatever you want to call it, Galadriel and Halbrand.
Yes,
I remember his name. And
do
you want to know why I remember his name?
Why is that?
I think Halbrand is Sauron.
That's a good theory.
Ooh, do you want to know why I think it's him?
Let me see if I can guess why.
Go ahead.
I mean, he's ashamed of what his people did as far as selling out to Morgoth way back when.
Right.
They've been on the hunt for Sauron. He said you wouldn't like the reason why I was on that raft.
Right.
And he was alluding to, you don't know what I did, as far as it sounds like he did more than just sell out the Southlands. Okay, go ahead. Take it.
So you got some of the pieces. Like my thing is, like, there's a bunch of pieces that kind of point to Halbrand being Sauron. You got some of the pieces. You got, like, all the points you raised are also points as to why I think Halbrand is Sauron. And in terms of, like, whether he's intentionally being Halbrand and he's just trying to live a normal life or what, we'll get to that part. Let's just suspend our disbelief as to why he's Halbrand right now and just try to go back and think, okay, I think he is Sauron. There's two things with that. So one necessarily doesn't have anything to do with the show as to what's happening right now. It more or less has to go to what the showrunners had to say about Sauron in Rings of Power. And it's something where they said in an interview where they basically said, Sauron's in the show. They didn't say when he's going to appear. They didn't say how he's going to appear, but they basically said Sauron is going to appear in the least expecting way you can imagine. Right?
Okay.
So, when you go back to our previous theories on who we thought Sauron is, when we saw Adar for the first time, that's way too obvious that this could be Sauron. So there's no way Adar was going to be Sauron, right? Aside from the obvious thing of, like, he doesn't look like a, Sauron or whatever. He looks like an elf almost with, like, burned skin a little bit. So that's Adar. right? And then you start thinking about, oh, but what about Discount Eminem? Discount Eminem also is like, I don't know, like that's just so obvious. Like, that it could be Sauron, I guess, because he just looks so evil right now.
Right.
So he was off the list right then and there. And especially with this episode, that confirmed more or less for me, like, yeah, I don't think this guy is Sauron. So, going back a little bit, there was a name that I could not wrap my head around. Do you recall the name that I could not remember the last several weeks when we were talking about characters? We just said it.
Halbrand?
Yes, Halbrand.
Okay.
Meaning he is the least suspecting person out of all the characters right now that we have that could potentially be Sauron. I couldn't even remember his name. I remember Galadriel, Celebrimbor, Elrond, Durin. I remember all these characters, but the least suspecting person in that that cast of characters is Halbrand. You forget about him. He's not trying to do anything with, the grand plot or whatever. So
he's trying to avoid it, if anything. He's not trying to go back to the Southlands.
He doesn't want to go to it. So in terms of that fitting the narrative of how the writers wanted to subvert expectations, I think Halbrand fits that narrative. He, you don't expect him to be that. Now let's go actually into the story, right? What points to him being Sauron? How poetic would it be that Galadriel, this entity that she has been hunting for centuries and has been the consumption of her entire life, like she's obsessed with finding Sauron. How poetic would it be if Halbrand, who is Sauron, is the person that actually saved her in the ocean? This is the chance meeting that they get, right?
Yep.
And so Galadriel is, Galadriel doesn't know that this is Sauron. So she's saved by the one thing that she hates most in the world. Not only that, she is trying to convince someone that, like, as you said, he doesn't want to go back to the Southlands for whatever reason. We don't know, but assuming it's Sauron, he just doesn't want to go back, and Galadriel keeps pushing him.
Ooh,
Galadriel.
Oh, because and again, talking poetic sense, they wanted her to go back to the elven homeland.
Just be peaceful, be at peace.
And what if she was the instigating factor to Sauron's rise again?
Exactly. The spy, and she's pushing Halbrand, and she keeps saying, because she really does it in this episode. She keeps telling him, we need you to go there because the queen is getting an army, so you need to be there. You need to be there to rally up the Southlanders.
And rally your people, yeah.
Rally your people.
For what we know, these people suck.
and another thing that supports this, remember the Palantir from last week's episode? The Queen Regent saw a vision of the destruction of Numenor, and the prophecy or the the vision that the Palantir gave her of Numenor being flooded, right?
The wave, yeah.
The waves. All that was told to her was that the destruction will be brought on by an elf. Living in this fantasy world, you all know how like prophecies and riddle, like everything has to be a riddle. Everything has to be vague and riddle-like almost. What if technically that part is true? An elf is going to bring the destruction of Numenor, but not directly. It is instead the elf who is the catalyst, that being Galadriel, in pushing the Sauron, Halbrand, to go to the Southlands, regain his Sauron consciousness, whatever, and that leads to the destruction of Numenor, where the prophecy foresaw in the Palantir is still accurate, because had that elf not washed on shore, she never could have convinced Sauron to go back and amass his army. So it's still her fault.
I can get behind it. I can. It works.
I think Halbrand is Sauron. Now, so that's kind of like the backdrop as to what would tie him into being Sauron. It's a whole nother discussion to try and figure out why the hell is he like this right now? You know, why is he Halbrand and wanting to be a blacksmith in Numenor?
You might see them play around with the mythos, maybe.
They might. It might be something. And again, that's another thing. Sauron was a skilled blacksmith. Halbrand is in a city that he's learning to be among the best blacksmiths known to man.
That sword looked pretty good that he made.
It looked solid. That thing looked like a blade that could cut the devil in half.
Yeah. Ooh, even if he's not Sauron, there's something much deeper, and I feel there's like a touch of evil here.
I feel like he's tied. If he's not actually Sauron directly, he is tied to Sauron in some way. Because again, going back to some of the things we saw already in past episodes, that fight that he had with the other blacksmiths, he was very skilled in that fight, and he got that sadistic edge where he just whispered in their ear, like,
I'm Halbrand.
I'm Halbrand.
What the fuck is this, Batman? I'm Halbrand.
And caves their skulls in. Like, there is a touch of evil. And then again, you get it again in this episode. Halbrand is saying, Galadriel, you don't know what I've done.
He's very ashamed of something.
Right. And I'm telling you, like, why Sauron has this Halbrand persona, you could theorize for days. You could be like, oh, he gave himself, I don't know, self-inflicted amnesia so that he can gain knowledge, I guess, among men, among, you know, the other kingdoms or whatever, or somehow make it to Numenor. We don't know. And again, another thing, it's interesting when he was saying to Galadriel, you don't know what I've done, because as he's saying that, the scene is transitioning into the orcs getting ready for battle. Bro, listen, Halbrand is Sauron. I'm sorry. That is my
you sticking by it? You standing by it?
I'm sticking by it. I don't think any other character fits the MO. I really think, and again, this is just me going back to what was given to us, going back to what the writers have said about how Sauron
it's solid.
can be introduced.
I think you have a solid theory.
I cracked the case. I got it.
Folks, you heard it here. DrJaceAttorney says Halbrand is Sauron. Hold him to it. We'll see.
We'll see.
It's pretty solid. I think the facts are there.
Would you think Nori is Sauron?
No. Never. Absolutely not.
Sauron was a Harfoot.
Could never. Could never. But something's afoot.
A Harfoot?
No.
Oh.
But nice try.
I thought that was the pun you were going for.
Absolutely not. Nice try, but no.
Fair
but it's
enough.
going down. It's going down. He's on board after much convincing. He's all suited
convincing.
Up.
He doesn't want to go.
He doesn't want to go.
He keeps emphasizing that.
But he's going.
He's going now. He's all suited up along with Galadriel. They got armored up. It's cool.
It was cool. It was cool to see her in armor. I mean, she didn't do much this episode, you know, outside of convincing Halbrand and testing the young soldiers of Numenor.
And oh my God, I'm sorry. Oh yeah, there's that fight with the that she has with the trainees,
and they get promoted to lieutenant. I don't like how they say
lieutenant.
I don't like
Lieutenant.
that, but whatever.
Going back a little bit, during one of the scenes where she finally convinces him to go to the Southlands, she tells Hallbrand she has not told this story to really anyone that has raised the question to. Hallbrand asks, why are you so obsessed with finding this guy? What did he do?
Whose dagger was it? He says.
Whose dagger was it? And she tells him, Sauron killed my brother. And it's a quest for revenge. I want revengeance. And Hallbrand apologizes. Is very interesting how he says it, because he says, I'm sorry. You could interpret that in a couple ways. You could interpret that as a sign of empathy, as in, like, you know, whenever anyone has like the passing of a loved one, typically one says, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry that happened to you, right? That could just be what Hallbrand was saying. On the flip side, if he is indeed Sauron, he is basically saying, oops.
Sorry.
Sorry.
He was in my way.
Oh my God. I had this theory already in this episode, and I half expected him to lay it bare and be like, I'm sorry, I dug the dagger deep in there. I thought he was going to say that to Galadriel in that scene, and then, you know, the cat's out the bag, it's Sauron. But he didn't do that. He just said, I am sorry. He didn't say, I'm sorry for your loss. He said, I'm sorry. I'm just saying. Convince me otherwise. I'm just saying. Hallbrand is Sauron.
I think it's sound. I just pulled up the scene too. Galadriel says to him, you know, to find the light, sometimes you have to have a touch of the darkness. Could be alluding to more than just a touch for this guy.
My God. Good. That's another thing. To touch of the darkness. She's been trying to find the light this entire time, right? And vanquishing Sauron. A touch of the darkness. She had to interact. She had to befriend Sauron to now see the light. That, oh my God, every single piece of dialogue in this episode and in past episodes point to this guy being Sauron.
It's good stuff.
I swear, if Hallbrand is not Sauron, I'm gonna say this show is terrible. I am so convinced that he is Sauron at this point. Goodness, googly moogly gracious. This is it. This is it.
I think there is a sound argument for it. And it's, I mean, because how many episodes? 10? 9 episodes?
Is it 10? Let's see. Rings of Power episode count. Well, it says there's 5 episodes out right now, but obviously there's more.
Does not tell you.
No, it will. It will in a second. As soon as I bring it up. There's 8
here I got
episodes.
8 episodes. So 3 more. 3 more.
3 more. The final episode will premiere on October 14th.
Okay. It's winding down. If any reveal is to happen, I think it's gonna be finale.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you gotta hold tight just a little bit.
I'm waiting on it. I am waiting on it.
You'll get the answers that you seek.
And the Palantir.
I don't know.
Is that what he says?
Does he say it like that?
Yeah, he does, right? Because he like curves his hand in like a weird way on the Palantir.
Who, Sauron? You talking about Sauron?
Yeah, doesn't he say it like that? And the Palantir.
Something like that. I just know he's got nasty old fingers doing this weird little.
It's crusty, yeah.
Talk to me, Sauron. Build me an army.
That's how he says it.
Right. I mean, I think I know there was something with the queen and her father. That's another thing I'm not too invested in.
Don't go to the Southlands. Don't go to Middle Earth. Don't do it. That's all the dad was.
That's
there
all
for.
it was. That's all it was. Okay.
That's all it was for. And again, it just alluding to bad things are gonna happen if you sail over there.
He says darkness. Yeah, he says. Well, she says, what awaits me?
Darkness.
Great. So vague. Thanks for nothing.
Thanks for the riddle, Dad.
Tell me something I didn't know. I'm literally about to go fight. You think I'm fighting the light? Come on, Dad.
Kingdom Hearts is light. Goodness. But
right.
Yeah. Everyone's getting ready for war. We know Galadriel's capable in combat as she just showed up the entire Numenor army solo. And we'll wait and see. We got a battle coming up next week.
Yeah, it looks like they're about to hit the ground running and honestly not slow down. I can't imagine them slowing down after this. So I think we'll see some converging, some storylines converging on one another, get some more interactions between our cast. And I'm pretty excited. Yeah. It's got me. Again,
Are
other
you,
than the things that we said.
Are you on team Hallbrand? Are you on team Hallbrand?
Oh, your theory? I think it's a good theory. I don't know if I will put all my money on it.
Wow, no. So that means you must think someone else has to be Sauron.
I don't know who Sauron's gonna be, but I know Hallbrand is hiding some dark secrets. I will say that. And it's going to be revealed, and it's going to game change for some folks.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'll say.
What if, because now I'm starting to get into, oh God, what story does this? What, Kingdom Hearts logic or, yeah, I guess Kingdom Hearts. I know there's other mythos that do it. What if Sauron to split what if Sauron to handle two different objectives, he split his soul into two, to where his dark half, his nobody, his heartless, is Adar that's amassing his army, and then his nobody, his shell, which is Hallbrand, is going off to learn the blacksmithing techniques of Numenor, so that when they come back, when they both eventually meet each other in the Southlands, Adar and Hallbrand, it'll be like a Patara fusion. Like, they'll start their bodies will magnetize.
You had our listeners like with you, and now you're losing them. Like,
you don't think that can happen? Some type of fusion,
I will say this. I will say, not necessarily to that degree, but maybe the spirit of Sauron can inhabit somebody, and it's like kind of like you're next in line to inhabit Sauron type of ordeal.
Okay.
But freaking, who's this? Xehanort's Heartless? Terra Ansem over here?
On Guardian!
Submit! Enough.
Oh, man. I'm calling it. Maybe that one I'm not too convinced on. The split. Actually, you know what? No.
I'm not putting anything off the table.
Okay.
The world is quite expansive in Lord of the Rings, so.
And then there's a lot of mysticism in this lore. I don't know. I'm not aware of all of it, so I don't know what's considered too far beyond the reach of reality. Like, oh no, you can't do that in Lord of the Rings. I think it's possible with the basically the devil or the son of the devil.
If a wizard can fall out of a comet, yeah, I think I did, which is not something I knew before. I think anything's possible.
I think you can split your soul into two parts and then Patara fusion back together.
Yeah,
we'll
no, I believe it. Yeah, we'll see. But folks, make sure you tune in for next week's episode 6 of The Rings of Power. And thank you for listening to us here at the Yonko table. Be sure to follow us on all social media accounts and definitely catch us on TikTok. We got things popping on TikTok, so go ahead and catch that. If you would like to discredit Dr. Jace and his theory, please join our Discord in the link below, because again, you can call him out on this and tell him why he's absurd in his way of thought.
Until someone does, I'm correct.
Yeah, come on, knock him off this pedestal. But we would love to hear from you. So link down below. Please join our Discord. And thank you for listening on your various podcast stations. And without further ado, I'm your Yonko host, Grandmaster Hoop, fellow Yonko theorist, Dr. Jace Attorney. We're signing off. Y'all have a good night.